Hey, it's me, Belle Bunny. Oh my god, I'm making a video. It has been a really long time since I have made a video. I could give you a million excuses for that, but this is on a brand new channel, so for some of you, this is the first video you've ever seen. Anyway, it's been a while. I haven't done this in a long time, so please forgive me. So I figured, since I'm starting a new channel, I figured we could do a get to know you tag. Is that lame? I don't know if that's something people do anymore, but we're gonna do it anyway, so you can get to know me in case you wanted to get to know me. So we've got 25 questions. They're probably things you don't give a crap about, but I do, because they're me. So question number 1 is, what is your favorite color? This should be an easy question for most people, but mine fluctuates constantly. Basically anything pastel. Rose gold is kind of one of my favorites. I really like a mint or pastel blue. I also really like purple. Basically, I don't know, I like colors. I like the rainbow. How tall are you? I am relatively short-ish. I'm 5'5", 5'5" and a quarter, because that matters. And apparently I'm also like a perfect square. So if you measure me, like my arm span and my height are exactly the same. I'm a square. Number 3, cats or dogs? I like both. If I had to pick between the two, I would definitely pick dogs. I've always had a better connection with them, but I have one of each. So I like both. 4, how many countries have you visited? I've been to Canada when I was really little. It's been a really long time. I want to go back there. I've been to France. I went there for 2 weeks back in high school and lived with a French family, and it was one of the best, if not the best experiences of my life. Live in the United States. Is that it? That's about it. I have a dream to go and visit as many countries as I possibly can, and not do it in like a touristy way, but to do it in like a learning, educational, I want to know the people and the landscape, and to take in the beauty and the culture there. Just, I don't know, something I've always wanted to do. I've also always wanted to go visit all 50 states at some point, just, I guess, to kind of say that I have. Number 5, are you in or have you gone to college? I went to college. I did not completely finish because mental health. I want to have a whole discussion at some point about what it was like to deal with mental health during college, what happened, why did I drop out, and am I going back? And the answer to that is yes, I will be going back. I want to finish, because I only basically have like 2 classes that I really need. My major is completely done. My minor is 99.99% done. So I'm trying to see if there's a way I can do that online, because that would make it a lot more feasible for me to go back and just finish, to be done, because you would not believe the number of jobs that require you to have some kind of degree. They literally don't even care what kind of degree half the time, but they want you to have one. And when you are 2 classes short of that, it really sucks. Number 6, what is your favorite drink? I could be lame and say water, which is very true. I do enjoy drinking water. A really good tea, like either a hot tea when it's really cold outside, or a good iced tea that's not too sweet when it's warm outside. So I think like a tea, lemonade, that's it. Lemonade is my main go-to when I don't know what else to have. And lemonade, specifically pink lemonade or limeade. Limeade's the best. Okay. Answer to the question is limeade. I enjoy it. Number 7, what is your favorite animal? So you guys would expect me to say bunnies, and they are on my top. I have an inability to pick a favorite of like anything, like favorite color, favorite food, favorite movie, any of that stuff. I'm horrible at it. And animals are especially hard for me because I love animals in general. But if I had to pick some of my top ones, bunnies, foxes. I love foxes. I want to have like a fox rehabilitation place. Actually, my dream is a rehab ranch, basically. Like I want to own a lot of land and take in animals that have nowhere else to go, whether they're domesticated or not, especially a lot of non-domesticated animals. Help them get healthy again, and especially I want it to be a place for those that can't go back to the wild. But instead of sticking them in a zoo or putting them down or whatever may happen to them, just giving them a place to be. That's something I've always wanted to do. Anyway, favorite animals, bunnies, foxes. I love sloths. They're so cute. No matter what anybody else says, they're adorable. I'll go with those as my top 3, I think. But there's so many cute animals. And dogs, and wolves, and ducks. Pigs, little baby pigs are really cute. A lot of things. I like a lot of animals, and some of them are really weird that I like. Anyway. Number 8, what is your favorite perfume? I actually hate perfume. Like stereotypical scented perfumes are gross to me. There's a reason that in French it's called eau de toilette, because it smells like a toilet. I'm more of like a body spray person, I guess. I usually go for something more natural smelling, so like rose petals or daisies. If I could get away with just like spraying myself with like a pumpkin spice smell, I could probably do that. That would make me really happy. I would do that. Number 9, tea or coffee? Both. Depends on the day. I would say if I had to pick between the two, I would actually probably pick tea, just because I feel like I can handle drinking more of it. Tea is a lot lighter and it's more cozy, I feel like. And then you've got the whole like hot and cold. Not that you can't do that with coffee, but anyway, it's lighter. I like tea better, I guess, but I like both. Plus, caffeine in coffee is good. Number 10, what sports do you play or have you played? I currently don't play any sports unless we count gaming, which, I mean, we probably should, so I guess video games. But let's see, what did I start? I started off with gymnastics when I was really, really little. I was in gymnastics for years, and then it got to the point where they were saying, like, you have to be competitive. That's not something I ever was interested in. I just enjoyed doing gymnastics, and I was fairly good at it. So they basically ended up forcing me to drop out. I don't know if that's how it is anymore, but that's how it was when I was little, and that sucked. But during gymnastics, I also joined the football team in elementary school. I was the only girl on the team, and I was the quarterback. And I really wish I'd stuck with that, because that was a lot of fun, and it made a lot of really good points. Let's see, I did softball for about a year. I was the pitcher on the softball team. I was on swim team for like 6 years, I think. And then in high school, it was just, again, it was more about the competitive thing, and I liked swimming, and I enjoyed bettering for myself, but not so much the competing thing. But ironically, I actually hate watching sports. Like, I do not understand it. Like, if you like it, all the power to you, I guess. I will never understand it. It's just boring to me to watch. I'd rather go do. Number 11, who are some of your favorite YouTubers? I watch a lot of YouTube. I bounce around a lot. Technically, I should probably say a lot of different ASMR artists. If you don't know what ASMR is, just Google it. 'Cause I use ASMR every single night to go to bed. But if we're talking just like, I guess, more mainstream YouTube, I'll link these people below. Dodie is a music artist. She also does vlogging stuff occasionally. She talks about mental health. I may have a slight crush on her. I feel like this one's gonna seem kind of odd coming from me, but I actually really enjoy Shane Dawson, especially his newer series. I'm a film student, so just from a film perspective, they're really cool to watch. Steph Sanyati, I might be saying that wrong. I'm so sorry if I am. But Steph, she's a vlogger, used to do makeup stuff. I don't know how much she does that anymore. A beautiful, beautiful trans woman, and talks about mental health, and a huge advocate for so many different people and things. She's really, really awesome. I really enjoy Gabby Hanna quite often too, if we're going even more like recognizable mainstream. Especially more of her newer content has been really, really awesome, and has kind of helped push me to want to start talking about stuff. Basically, anybody who talks about mental health, especially, and anybody who's just more real. I could give you a giant list, but I guess we'll go with those as my top currently. Favorite memory from childhood. So this one's a weird one for me because I actually don't have very many memories from my childhood. My memory is actually fairly bad. Like, my short-term memory is actually fairly good. Like, I can repeat back a long string of numbers, or I can tell you exactly what somebody was wearing, or even like some of my long-term memory, like I'll remember stupid weird things about it, like what somebody was wearing, what it smelled like, how it felt, what I was eating, like weird things like that, but I couldn't tell you the main thing that happened that day. And I think a big part of it is that I had, not to get into it too much, but basically I think part of it was a protective thing. My mind has this tendency that if there is something negative that has happened, something traumatic, it kind of tries to just delete. And the problem is it's like if you were trying to edit a video and you were like, oh, I made this big mistake in this one part, but it's only about 2 seconds long that I need to cut out, but you accidentally cut out 5 minutes of footage on either end and you can't get it back, or it's like not quite the same anymore. It's a really bad analogy, but that's kind of how my brain seems to work, is it's like instead of just cutting out this one thing that happened, it cuts out the entire person, or tries to, and then what it does is deletes a lot of the memories around that entire year. So especially when I'm younger, and especially parts of like high school, I have huge like gaps in my timeline that I if I didn't have like pictures or videos of those times or people like reminding me of stories, I wouldn't know what the heck happened during those times. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's like, if I went through to just some kind of therapy or something, that I could sit down and maybe try to get back into those. I don't know if I fully want to or not, because I also don't, part of me is like, I don't know, am I missing things? Is it important? Or am I better with just, this is me now, this is what I'm living, let's live in the moment, and hopefully I'll remember this moment later on. I don't know. So anyway, I can't answer this question super well because I don't actually know. I have a really hard time telling what is a real memory and what is something that has just been told to me over and over again or shown to me in pictures or video. It all just kind of jumbles up for me. So, and if you want to know more about that sometime, I'd be happy to do a video just about that and my memory issues. That's something I don't actually really ever talk about. Number 13, do you speak any different languages and how well? I took French for like 8 years. Like I said before, I went to France. I don't remember enough of it to like say I know French. Say I'm watching like a TV show and there's a character who's speaking French, I can get the gist of what they're saying without looking at the subtitles. I could not hold a conversation in French. Like, my spoken French is really bad at this point. It's something I want to start doing again, is like relearning it, because I would love to have a couple different languages in my repertoire. I don't talk like that. I also do know sign language, American Sign Language. It's been a very long time since I have consistently used it, but I do know it. I would need a big refresher outside of like finger spelling. And some very common basic words, but it is something that I also learned for a long time. I had a number of hearing impaired friends. I used to go to school with them for part of the day just to learn. When I was very young, I went to a different elementary school, and taught them how to do the Pledge of Allegiance in sign language. So it used to be a big part of my life, and it hasn't been for a long time. That's another thing I would really like to refresh, because honestly, everybody should probably know American Sign Language or sign language wherever you're from, because it can be useful. You never know when somebody that you care about is gonna lose their hearing, either completely or partially on the job. It's a really good thing to have. That way you can be a better customer service representative or whatever. You can serve people better, you can communicate, you can help people. And also just say you're in a loud setting and you want to like sign across the room at your significant other or whatever, like you can. Also, if you have kids, it's a really cool thing to teach them. That's something that we've kind of done with our kid. Long story short, yes, I technically kind of know 2 other languages, but not well enough that I could like hold a good conversation at this point, but I want to change that. Do you have any siblings? I do not. I am an only child. I have a number of siblings by marriage. My partner has 6 siblings. Is that right? There is a fly. Okay, so we have like a house fly. Like there's 2 of them that get on our house because our screen it needs to be fixed basically. And they've been wanting to hang out in here because it's cold outside now, because I live in Wisconsin, and that it was attacking the camera. They're both sitting on top of the camera right now, staring at me. Kind of awkward having an audience. Oh, they're fighting now. So if you see one fly by, I apologize. I don't like killing bugs, so I haven't killed them yet. I keep hoping they're just going to fly back out the window, but they haven't. Anyway, so yeah, I believe I have 6 siblings because of Joey, his family, but none of my own. 15. What are some of your favorite TV shows? This is another one of those ones that changes constantly, but I would say right now there's a kids show on Netflix called Hilda. I don't even know if I would call it just a kids show. It's kind of like Steven Universe-esque vibes. Very beautiful art. The story is really, really good. They only got 1 season out right now, but it is really, really entertaining. It is definitely not just for kids, but it's very kid-friendly. Plus, there's a deer fox in it, which is super adorable, named Twig, and I very much identify with Hilda. So anyway, you should check that one out. It's really cute. I also just binge-watched twice The Haunting of Hill House. If you have not watched that, I'm a person, I cannot handle gore, violence, scary stuff, like jump scare, I've been to a haunted house once in my life. I walked in, they tried to take my name down, and I walked out, ran out crying. So if that tells you anything, I don't do scary, I don't do horror. I handled this show twice in a row. The first time I watched it completely by myself while my partner was gone for 4 days, and it was incredible. It's like 50 about mental health, 45% about family communication and dynamics, and like 5% about actual scary stuff. There's quite a bit of scary in it, but it's just go watch it. It is amazing, and I cannot wait for season 2 as long as they do it well. Also, the filming is incredible. Anyway, film nerd being suppressed. I watch a lot of Netflix. Oh, and then there's animes. I'll do a whole separate thing on animes at some point, but I have a long list of animes that I really, really, really like and highly recommend. Number 16, what's the first thing you notice about people? Eyeballs. I am very much about eyes. I do honestly believe that the eyes are like the window to the soul. Like they tell you a lot about a person, and it's not even necessarily in some like ooh kind of sense, but more they're our most expressive part of our bodies. Like even a person who doesn't express well with their face, their eyes can tell you a lot. And when I meet a person at least who doesn't have expressive eyes, it absolutely terrifies me. Like if I can't read a person through their eyes, it's really, really weird to me. 17, scary movie or happy ending. So I'm a super sappy person. I love like when things are happy and blah, blah, blah and whatever. But at the same time, I actually would prefer, if it fits the movie, I would prefer that it ends kind of dark. Like not completely hopeless, but it could be dark. Like don't have everybody live. Don't have even the main character necessarily always make it through whatever. Not everything has to be happy-go-lucky. And I get that movies are an escape for a lot of us, but at the same time, sometimes it's okay to acknowledge that the world isn't all rainbows and butterflies, and it's more about what you do after the fact, right? That the world goes on, and we have things we can do and change, those of us who are left, to make a difference. Anyway, could go on a long rant. This is already turning into a really, really freaking long video. I like happy things, but I also really want movies to be more okay with not ending everything perfect. I don't really like scary movies generally, though. 18, do you get jealous of others? Yes, very much so. I have a major problem with it. It's actually part of the reason that I stepped away from doing content for a while, because I have a problem with comparing myself way too often, which I think is very common for a lot of people, especially on the internet, especially content creators, and it's something that we all need to get better at, because what we do and what we have to give is more important than how it compares to somebody else. 19, didn't I already do favorite color? I did. I lied. It's gonna be 24 questions. So number 19, any phobias? Yes, I have a phobia of mascots and people in masks, but specifically mascots. If you want to hear that story, comment below and like this video. I'm so good at this. No, I will tell you that story if you guys want to hear it. Some of you may already know it, but I am very, very afraid of mascots to the point where I will not ever go to Disney World probably, or Disneyland, or any of those. And I have a story where I hid under my desk at work, in the middle of work, ignoring a patron because there were mascots running around the library. Anything else that I have fears of, like I'm deathly afraid of death. Not necessarily a phobia, it's just something that makes me it triggers a lot of mental health issues for me. I don't know what number we're on anymore, so I don't care. Tattoos. I currently don't have any, but I have like 9 different ones at least that I have planned. The first one I want to get is on my arm. Right here. I used to self-harm, and I want a reminder not to do that. And so it's going to have a semicolon here, and then it's going to have the quote from Robert Frost that says, "Miles to go before I sleep." That's the very first one I want to get. If you want to know about my other ones, I can talk about that sometime and show you sketches that I've worked on. Sexual orientation. I am bi/pan/ basically I'm queer. That's what I label myself as. I am married to a cis man, but I am very much attracted to women. If I hadn't happened to meet him and fall in love with him when I did, I'm 99% sure I probably would be with women right now. So yep. I'm queer. I use the term bi mostly because it's more recognizable to people, but by definition, I guess I qualify more as pansexual. If you want me to do a video about all of this and my identity in general, I would be happy to do so. Allergies. The only allergy I know of for sure that I have is, or like, that I'm allergic to is coconut, but it seems to only be if it's like straight up coconut. And it's much less than it used to be. When I was a lot younger, my throat used to kind of tense up a lot and it would make my stomach feel really icky. Now I seem to be able to do okay with some coconut products, just not straight coconut. The only other thing I have to worry about is my mom was like deathly allergic to penicillin. So that's something I always let doctors know in case for some reason it happens to be something that would be genetic, because I believe it came from her dad had such high doses of penicillin when he was super, super sick before. And so she thinks maybe it got passed on to her, like just this, like her body's like, nope. And so that's something I'm a little worried about. But so far, no problems, because I've never had it. Top video games. Hellblade is probably like my number one. What Remains of Edith Finch. Super, super awesome game. Journey was a beautiful game. I love playing Destiny. Destiny 1 and 2 have been a huge, huge part of my life. I really want the new Spyro game, or remastered Spyro game, because that's a huge part of what I grew up with, sneakily running off to my friend's house to play it. Pokemon will always have a spot in my heart. That was like my very first anything on Game Boy. I really like Skyrim, and basically a lot of anything that's like more of like a solo story game is more of a thing for me, but I also really like Battlefield 1 and Overwatch and stuff like that as well. So it's another one of those, I like games if they're pretty and if they have a really good story and I can feel a connection to something in it, I will probably like it. And last question, what is something unique about you? And I was going to go on this one for a while, but I'm not going to right now because this has gotten very long and I need to go pick up my daughter in like 5 minutes. But I plan to make a whole series of videos about one, mental health, but also about this thing, and that is that I am technically an empath. And if you don't know what that is, I highly recommend looking it up before I make a video on it, but it is different than having high levels of empathy. I am an empath, and not to leave it on a weird note, but I also have had experiences with touching objects and feeling their stories, and I also do believe in some version of possibly having a past life. So I'm weird, whatever, we'll make videos about any of the stuff that you guys want to know more about. Sorry this was so long. I'm probably going to say that in every video, so whatever. I make long videos. I like to talk. It's who I am. But I hope you guys got to know a little bit about me in this crash course. Get ready for a lot of mental health content and just some sit-down talks and stuff, and let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see. This mainly will not be a video game channel. That's what my other channel, which is linked below, is for. Something I want to get back to as well is making videos on games and streaming videos. Streaming video games? Yes, streaming. All my information's down below. Click the bell icon, subscribe. Thumbs up if you think I'm really freaking weird and you want to see more of it. Whatever. All the things you're supposed to do them. And know that you matter, you are beautiful, and I love you. Bye. Oh man. I wasn't prepared for that. Oh! Sorry. My nose is leaking. For other people that I consistently watch. I may need to look this up. Hold on. Ooh. Sorry, my phone was lighting up and I have to go pick up Peyton in like 2 minutes. So eyeballs. That's kind of a weird question. Skip ahead. If they just died. Ooh, I don't know if I can. Okay. Whatever number. Oh my god. Okay, I hate this. So, I'm weird. And subscribe.